Hello again, this is Archis and Mohammed back with another episode of Fact versus Fiction. There's a lot of narratives being sold around any topic, and in this show we try to separate the facts from all the rubbish that there's going around. And it seems that mainstream media is somehow making our job a lot harder by being mouthpiece of these rumor mills. So what I'm talking about is Republic TV's coverage of yesterday's shootout at the protest. Now, as you know, things took a turn for the dark when a gunman took out a gun and shot at a protester in front of Jamia. So the protester is now in the hospital, in the Holy Family Hospital nearby, and the perpetrator is now in police custody. Now, at the time of arrest, the police said that this person is a 19-year-old.
Precisely.
But a little later, his CBSE mark sheet mysteriously appeared, saying that he is just a few months short of turning 18.
So, which means he may be a minor, and thus we cannot reveal his name or show you his identity because he may not be 18 years old.
Now, we're going to wait for confirmation to know whether he is minor or not. So, until then, we're not going to say out his name. But today's show is not about this person. Today's show is about Arnab Goswami and Republic TV and the kind of segments they ran after the news broke out. Now, right initially after when the shootout happened, the first reporting by Republic TV insinuated that this gunman is a Jamia protester, and they used Aston's like protester turns violent, which kind of paints a picture about protesters being violent. But the funny part here is that it's the protesters who were shot at. And funnily enough, in a lot of the pictures, you can see Delhi police standing right behind the protester, not doing much, whereas right behind the shooter and not doing much, whereas the shooter is kind of like waving his gun around. So that was a very questionable act as well. So during the live broadcast, Republic TV's political editor Aishwarya Kapoor dished out several theories saying that the shooter is the real face of anti-CAA protests, therefore saying that he's part of the protest who's shooting at his own fellow protesters.
Yes.
Yeah?
So, so it's something that it's just a protester turned mad.
Yes.
And brandishing a gun and shooting at the protesters.
Exactly. That's the narrative sold by Republic TV. But
today we're just going to point out a lot of contradictions in Republic's own reporting. So they started off the incident by saying protester turned violent, and again by stating that the gunman was among the protesters as a whole, except when they were being called out by senior journalists online. So you have Jaspreet Singh Bawa of the Quint, Naresh Fernandez of Scroll, and various other journalists calling them out, stating that indeed it was not a protester, but it was an outsider who brandished the gun. And Arnab Goswami on the show also apologized for making this mistake, and he said that on primetime television, I am apologizing on knowing this person's identity. You can see the screenshot and the video in front of you, and that's a responsible thing to do. Except again in primetime television, they have run an Aston with the same show with the circle which is being displayed in front of you, saying protester turned violent. So it is saying protester turned violent, then Arnab Goswami apologizing and said that it was not a protester, he was actually an outsider, with Republic again saying that it was a protester turned violent. So there are a lot of turn of events on one channel alone, and that was their reporting of the entire incident.
So they actually did not correct the mistake.
Precisely.
Okay. So I mean, what do we know about this person, right? The shooter. The shooter was definitely not an anti-CA protester.
He was not an anti-CA protester,
and,
yes.
we looked through his Facebook profiles, his Instagram profiles while it was up. Now it has been taken down. All his profiles have been taken down.
Facebook too has come out with a statement stating that they would not tolerate any of such a person's content online.
Good look, and we had saved all the pictures, archived all the pictures and all the images that this person had posted, and they paint a picture of someone who would be very pro-CA, who's very pro-ruling party,
and he was
almost kind of reminding us of the Christchurch shooting that happened in New Zealand, except that this person didn't do the shootout on camera, and thank goodness he didn't. So friends, that's all for now. If you see any more than anything